Hello, my name is Michelle Zubrinich, and I thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak today. I'm addressing the Niagara Regional Council, and I know that many of you do not feel that this issue belongs in the Regional Council, but as other delegates have pointed out, you took a strong stance with Ukraine, so why would this be any different? You lit the building blue and white in solidarity with Israel when you thought that 1,200 people were killed. Why wouldn't you do the same for Palestine when we now know that over 25,000 people have been murdered to date? What's become very clear to me in the past 3.5 months is how little people know about what's happening in Gaza and the true history of Israel. Do you know what Zionism is? Do you know how, where, and who started it? Do you still conflate Zionism with Judaism? Or do you not dare look into it in fear that you would be called anti-Semitic? I am not Palestinian, I am not Muslim, I'm not Christian, Jewish, or Israeli. I do not have any family members who have been killed in Gaza or the West Bank, but what I do have is a heart, 2 eyes, and a soul. And watching the people suffer the way that they have in what has been deemed as the deadliest war in the 21st century for civilians, mostly women and children, has changed me forever. You don't need to be from Palestine to help defend people from a genocide. Let's go back though. What can Regional Council do? What would any of you do if your family members were being murdered by the thousands? Your family members, your neighbors, your loved ones. Would you sit there and do nothing? Would you say, oh well, there's nothing we can do? Or would you do everything you possibly could, even if you were just gaining inches? Why did any of you become city council members? Was it not to help your community? Well, your community needs you. You absolutely can make a difference. Your voices are important, and you hold weight with your MPs and your MPPs. Please urge them to lobby to ease the restrictions for the refugees coming from Gaza. There are 2 restrictions specifically that make this nearly impossible for people to apply. They must have all passports ever issued, past or present, meaning when your house is completely bombed and gone and you have your 1 passport, hopefully your 1 current passport, you will still not to be able to come into Canada unless you have all of the expired passports that you have ever been issued. The other one is that they must present all of their work history with references from when they were 16 years old. Do you know who your managers were when you were 16 years old? And furthermore, who is corroborating this information? Because Canada certainly does not have access to this. And all of the government buildings in Palestine are not working. So would Israel be the one to be corroborating this information? Will Canada be asking the very government who is creating the genocide to then approve who is coming to Canada as refugees? This does not seem just, fair, many things. It just seems very, very wrong. The IRCC website states that there's a cap of 1,000 refugees allowed in from Gaza. Laura Ip, I was very shocked to read on your personal blog that you said that there was no cap being put on. This is absolute disinformation, and I would really love to see any city council member, and not only see, I think every city council member has a duty to fact check anything that they are putting out on their personal blog, their website, or any social media. Please speak to your MPs, and please ask for a permanent ceasefire. Our federal government finally asked for a ceasefire in December after 2 months of bombings, but they put 0 repercussions in for Israel when they did not adhere. I've tried to speak to Chris Biddle about this, and I know how challenging it can be, but as I tell my 8-year-old son, we can do hard things. Why is Canada selling on average $20 million worth of military supplies to Israel pre-October 7th? Israel has been deemed an apartheid state and was an apartheid state before October 7th, yet we have been selling them tens of millions of dollars of weapons yearly. We should be enacting an arms embargo on the Israeli government. I truly do not believe that we are unable to help our communities here in Niagara, and our communities include their families in Gaza. What are we doing if we cannot even make change in our towns, cities, provinces, or countries? A local writer said that we have no business discussing this issue and that you should all stick to making up bird feeder bylaws so he can make fun of you in his papers. Is that what you'd truly rather be doing? Discussing bird feeders and rats rather than helping actual people who need it? I'll conclude with a quote from an honorable journalist in Gaza, Motaz Azeza. He said, "Don't call yourself a free person if you can't make change, if you can't stop a genocide that is still ongoing." Thank you.